The night was unusually quiet in the small town of Brookdale. Most houses had already turned off their lights. The streets were empty, and the only sound that moved through the air was the gentle rustling of trees in the cool evening breeze. Inside a small two-bedroom house near the edge of town lived a woman named Sarah Mitchell. Sarah was 32 years old, a nurse at the local hospital, and someone who had grown used to long days and quiet nights. That evening had been especially exhausting. After finishing a 12-hour shift at the hospital, Sarah returned home just after 9 p.m. Too tired to cook, she heated some leftover soup, ate quietly while scrolling through her phone, and then took a warm shower. By 10:30 p.m., she was already in bed. The house felt peaceful, but peace, dozin, always last. Around midnight, Sarah suddenly woke up. Her eyes opened slowly in the darkness. At first, she thought something had disturbed her dream, but then she heard it. A voice. Soft, distant, almost like a whisper.
Hello?
Sarah sat up in bed. Her heart began to beat faster. The house was completely dark. She looked around the room. Nothing. The digital clock beside her bed read 12:07 a.m. She rubbed her eyes. Maybe I imagined it, she whispered to herself. Just as she started to lie back down, the voice came again. This time clearer. Hello. Can someone help me? Sarah froze. Her breath caught in her throat. The voice wasn't inside her room. It sounded like it was coming from outside. Carefully, she slid out of bed and walked toward the window. The street outside was dimly lit by a single flickering lamp. Rain from earlier that evening had left the road wet and shining under the light. She scanned the street. Empty. No cars, no people. Then, please, help. The voice came again. Sarah's heart pounded. She grabbed her robe and walked quietly toward the front door. Every step felt slow and heavy. The house creaked softly as she moved through the hallway. She reached the door and paused. Her hand rested on the handle. Should she open it or call the police? The voice sounded again. Weak. Tired. Is anyone there? That was Hey. Sarah unlocked the door and opened it slowly. The cool night air rushed inside. For a moment, she saw nothing. Then she looked down, and her breath caught. Sitting on the porch steps was a small girl. She looked no older than 6 or 7 years old. Her clothes were damp from the rain, and she hugged her knees tightly, shivering from the cold. Her eyes looked up at Sarah. Fear and exhaustion filled them. "Hi," the girl whispered weakly. Sarah knelt down immediately. "Oh my goodness. Are you okay?" The girl shook her head slowly. "I got lost." Sarah gently helped her stand. "Come inside," she said softly. "You're safe now." Inside the house, Sarah wrapped the girl in a warm blanket and gave her hot chocolate. The girl held the cup with both hands, letting the warmth reach her fingers. "What's your name?" Sarah asked gently. "Lily." "And your parents?" Lily's eyes filled with tears. "We were driving, but our car stopped on the road." "Then what happened?" "Mom went to find help, but she didn't come back." Sarah felt a deep concern rising in her chest. "How long ago was that?" "Lily." "Sro." about that? I don't know. Sarah grabbed her phone and called the local police station. Within minutes, officers arrived. After hearing Lily's story, they began searching nearby roads. About an hour later, the police found Lily's mother. Her car had broken down about 2 miles away. She had walked toward the town looking for help, but collapsed from exhaustion and cold near the roadside. Thankfully, she was alive and taken to the hospital. When Lily heard the news, tears streamed down her face. "She's okay?" she asked. "Yes," Sarah said gently. "She's okay." The next morning, Sarah took Lily to the hospital. The moment Lily saw her mother sitting up in the hospital bed, she ran forward and wrapped her arms tightly around her. The reunion was emotional. Lily's mother thanked Sarah over and over again. "You saved my daughter," she said. Sarah smiled softly. "No," she replied. She saved herself by asking for help. But something about that night stayed with Sarah. Later that evening, as she sat quietly in her living room, she thought about how close Lily had been to wandering the dark streets alone. If Sarah had ignored the voice, if she had stayed in bed, things could have been very different. Sometimes life gives us moments where a single decision matters more than we realize. A voice in the night. A door opened at a life protected. And for Sarah, that quiet midnight whisper became a reminder that kindness often begins with something simple: listening. Because sometimes the smallest voices are the ones that need to be heard the most.